சார் முருகானந்தம் சார். திருமூல ஹலோ.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Muruganan sir, good morning, sir. Now is audible, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. 5 minutes, sir. 5 minutes.
Right.
Sir, Perisam sir, good morning, sir. Sir, principal, sir.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, correspondent will join பண்ணல sir. 2 minutes join பண்ணுறேன்.
Right, okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Hasan, sir. Hasan, sir.
வாய்ஸ் இருக்கா?
Ready, sir.
Okay. Sir, can we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Carry on.
Good morning to all. Sir, I am audible? Muthukumar, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, good morning to all. On behalf of our management and our department, I welcome all the participants for ATAL sponsored 5 days online faculty development program on blockchain. I welcome all the participants. First of all, I would like to call our HOD Dr. Muthukumar, sir, to deliver the welcome address. Muthukumar, sir, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, a very good morning to one and all gathered here. So, respected correspondent, Dr. Chinnadurai Abdullah, our beloved principal, Dr. M. Perisami, today's inaugural chief guest cum resource person, Dr. P. Muruganandam, Deputy Registrar, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Kalyani, West Bengal. Our faculty coordinators of this ATAL-sponsored 5 days online FDP, Professor Dr. N. Karthigeyan, Professor Dr. A. Kanmani, and our organizing secretaries, Dr. Hassan Hussain and Dr. Shivakumar and Dr. Professor B. John Samuel, and faculty members of my own department and my dear participants from various institutes. A warm and happy morning to one and all gathered here. Gathered this AICT Training and Learning Academy sponsored 5 days online FDP on blockchain. As a coordinator, it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all for this ATAL-sponsored faculty development program organized by our CAC department from 22nd February to 26th February 2021. So, for these 5 days, we have eminent speakers from various institutions like IIIT, that is Dr. P. Muruganandam Sir, Deputy Registrar, IIIT, Kalyani, West Bengal, Dr. Mahib M. Batre, Associate Professor from CAC Department, GS Raisani University, Amravati, Maharashtra, Dr. P. Vigneshwaran, Associate Professor, School of Computing from SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, and Professor N. Karthigeyan, Professor and Head PG Studies from our own institution, Sayadamal Engineering College. And also, we have a speaker called Dr. T.B. Shivakumar, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sayadamal Engineering College. And we have one more speaker called Professor B. John Samuel, Assistant Professor from our own department. And last but not least, we have a speaker from industry, Mr. Bhubadi Pandian from Monsha Private Limited. So they are going to deliver various topics in blockchain, in architecture, in banking sector, insurance, healthcare. So these 5 days, you have 3 sessions, all 14 sessions, you will be getting more knowledge towards blockchain technology. So with this, I once again welcome all the participants who are gathered here from various institutions from our nations. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, sir. Now, I call our respected principal, Dr. M. Perisami, sir, to deliver the presidential address. Sir, please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. S. Hussain. Respected beloved correspondent of our institution, Dr. Chinandri Abdullah, sir. Respected chief guest of today's function, Dr. S. Muruganandam, is a deputy registrar of IIIT Kalyani, West Bengal, and respected coordinator of this particular FDB, Dr. B. Muthukumar, the faculty members of CS department, the participants from various parts of India, as well as resource persons from various parts of India. I extend my warm welcome to all of the persons gathered in this online platform. It is very great pleasure as a head of the institution to provide presidential address for this inaugural function. During this COVID-19, from the month of July 2022 and this month, every month we are continuously organizing online STDPs or online FDPs sponsored by AICT. It is a great honor for us. So far, we conducted nearly 10 STDPs and FDPs. That gave us a great immense pleasure to deliver and disseminate knowledge in various thrust areas like soft computing and power electronic controllers, RFID, and as well as the blockchain FDP. And once again, ATAL Academy and also e-mobility, as well as this e-storage and this blockchain technology. So far, we already conducted one ATAL Academy sponsored FDP on e-storage. So this shows that our the front line for providing, and know that FDB is enhanced to add the knowledge, and that will be propagated to the student community. The ultimate aim of the organizing these STDPs and FDPs are sharing the knowledge among the faculty members and for the higher education, for the research, as well as for disseminating knowledge to the students. And students will enrich the knowledge by getting a valuable knowledge from the faculty community. And and also I'm happy that this in this FTP, more number of eminent persons are going to disseminate knowledge that give me an immense pleasure, and this will be a very successful one at the end of the day 5, and definitely every one of the participants must get a valuable knowledge, and I hope this will be a very successful one. And I thank the entire team of CS department for giving me this opportunity to deliver the presidential address. Thank you, sir, and warm wish to have this function should be a very successful one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your very much, sir, for your presidential address.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I call our honorable correspondent, Dr. Chinnaduri Abdullah, sir, to felicitate the gathering. Sir, please, sir.
Yes. Respected principal, respected HOD of Computer Science Department, Dr. B. Muthukumar, who is also the coordinator for this ATAL training and ACT training and learning sponsored event. The coordinators, co-coordinators, faculties, and the delegates, a warm good morning to all of you. I am really very happy that our college is conducting one more ATAL sponsored 5-day course online program in this year. And I would like to congratulate the coordinators and the co-coordinators and the Department of CSE for arranging this successfully. And also, I want to stress a point that faculty should have adequate knowledge in the subject. Otherwise, they cannot impart enough knowledge to the students. Nowadays, each subject is having so much development every year. Today, even in my field, radiology, some 30-40 years ago, we used to see only X-rays, and you have to diagnose with the X-rays. Now, latest equipments like CT scan, MRI scan, ultrasound scan, PET scan, everything has come up, which are not there some 40 years ago, and we are able to give a better diagnosis. So, if you are not going to update your knowledge to read the current equipment, to operate the current equipment and diagnosis, you will not be able to perform your job adequately. So, in olden days, we can have, once we finished our course and become an assistant professor or professor, we need not much improve our knowledge. But nowadays, the faculty have to improve the knowledge, especially the field like blockchain. Every day you have to improve, and you have to update your knowledge so that you can impart the knowledge to the students. So this is very important. So only ACT is sponsoring these programs for so many colleges, and so they are sponsoring so many programs for the faculty development. And I am very proud that our college is able to conduct, as an NBA accredited institution, we are able to conduct more faculty development program. And I hope it will be properly utilized by the delegates, and you will be getting benefited after 5 days. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to felicitate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your motivational speech. Now, I call Dr. N. Karthikeyan, HOD, PG Computer Science and Engineering Department, to introduce the chief guest. Sir?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to introduce our chief guest, Professor Dr. Muruganandam Ponnushami. He is working as a Deputy Registrar of Indian Institute of Information Technology, Kalyani, West Bengal. He is one of the subject expert and resource person of National Board of Accreditation, approved valuer, machinery and plant mechanical engineering. That is chartered engineer. He is holding 5 Indian patent journal publications, which includes improvement of trivial and secure IoT device management and eliminating security usage in IoT using blockchain. He mentored more than 75 faculty development programs in outcome-based education. He is the recipient of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, OB FDP fundings. Participated in Peace Engineering WEEF GEDC 2018 in New Mexico, USA. He is an active member in American Society for Engineering Education. He is an academic auditor of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, Kerala. His research interest in renewable solar energy resources, autonomous vehicles, and engineering education, in addition to the emerging technologies of IoT and blockchain. He has secured international certified career coach level 1 certification from Career Development Alliance from USA. He is serving as a National Executive Council member for Indian Society for Technical Education. He is nominated by AICT India to serve as Margdarshak, mentor to engineering colleges to streamline the SOPs to acquire NBA. He is selected as program evaluator candidate of Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology, Baltimore, USA. This is his 20th expert talk in AICT TechCube sponsored FDP STTP in this pandemic situation. With these words, I welcome Dr. Muruganandam Ponnusamy, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Professor Karthikeyan. I hope you are audible. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Karthikeyan. Thank you for your brief introduction. I hope participants are waiting for a long time, so I am not taking much time. Respected correspondent of the Institute, Dr. Chinnathurai sir, respected principal, Dr. Periyasamy, and the coordinator, head of the department of the Institute, who is working tirelessly for the past couple of months. I hope so. Right. The correspondent mentioned rightly that he had several improvements in his medical care industry. In fact, that is one of the forecasted, predicted area by the blockchain technologists, by the MNCs throughout the world, because in the future, 1/3 of the equipments which are connected with the Internet of Things will be from healthcare sector only. So with that huge introduction, I thought of going to open my session. Before that, I can give something related with this blockchain technology. In fact, Government of India also piloted this particular technology in PFMS scheme. Hope most of you are aware about Public Financial Management Service scheme. The piloting plan is going. Many state governments, specifically the government of Kerala, came up with Blockchain Academy. Government of Tamil Nadu came up with the blockchain policy a couple of months back. The neighboring states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana came up with their own blockchain implementation policy 2 years back. Government of Uttar Pradesh came up with their policy and conducted international conference in this specific topic a couple of years back. In fact, 80% of the insurance companies in the world either started or starting implementation of blockchain technology in their day-to-day activity. Everyone is focusing to enhance the security of data. Everyone wants to keep their activities in an ethical way and open way so that the companies, the MNCs, the governments throughout the world are showing interest towards blockchain technology. In fact, Government of India is coming up with a new policy of virtual currency. That's what we are hearing for the past couple of weeks in the news media. So the technology is very much going to utilize by several sectors in the coming days. Technology may come and go, but we people have to utilize the chance to grow by using the technology. So this is the best possible chances for the participants. This is the best possible chances for the various sectors to introduce and implement blockchain technology into their day-to-day activity for enhancing the security, for improving the ethical concepts, for improving the sector operation in a white and black manner. So I sincerely believe that the participants will get a lot of ideas, tips, suggestions, in fact, in a leading way of getting problems to kickstart their research. Again, I am pointing out the correspondent message. Because of the NBA accreditation in their institution for various programs, they are capable of delivering several FDPs in the past one semester, which shows certain amount of quality about the institution, which shows certain capacity of the various faculty gathered in that particular institution. So with this, I can wind up my introduction remarks so that we can go for the session in a quicker way. Thank you all for inviting me for this occasion. Thank you all for listening patiently in this occasion. In fact, this is my 64th expert talk in ACTE, STTP, FDP in this pandemic situation. Thank you one and all. Over to the coordinator.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, can we start the session one, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So, first of
Give me
all,
a moment.
yeah, sir. Yes, sir. Before that, I just want to tell something, sir. So, dear participants, thank you so much for your wonderful contribution for attending this 5 days FDP. First of all, I would like to thank our correspondent, Dr. Chinnadure Abdullah sir, for encouraging us continuously for organizing these types of FDPs regularly. Thank you so much, sir. And next, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. M. Periyasamy sir. He's a backbone of our institution to motivate in each and every corner of our development and organizing several FDPs and several seminars, either funded or non-funded. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful contribution towards the growth of our college. And I would like to thank our coordinators who are the real backbone of this FDP, Dr. Karthikeyan and Dr. Kanmani Madam. Without their support, this not meant to be a successful manner. And I would like to thank our organizing secretaries who are going to contribute their entire schedule. With the, even though we are tight with the academic schedule, they are going to organize with me for 5 days, Dr. Hassan Hussain, Dr. Sivakumar, and Professor John Samuel. And I thank all my department faculty members and all other faculty members. And finally, I thank all the participants who are enrolled and going to attend this 5 days FDP. Thank you, one and all. Now I am hand over the session to Dr. Muruganandan sir to deliver the topic on blockchain fintech application in banking sector. Sir, thank you so much. It's over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Muthukumar. I hope I am audible and my
Yes, sir.
screen blockchain fintech application in banking is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Right.
Carry on. Thank you.
So if you are finding any difficulty in terms of video or audio, please ping me in my mobile. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand whether the things are communicating to you
Okay,
or
sir.
not. Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Give me a moment. Right. So every technology goes through a phase cycle when introduced to the market. Hope the participants can agree that. From initiation through the high expectations, then through the phase of disillusionment, across the phase of discovery and knowledge, before arriving finally at the phase of implementation and productivity. So the cycle is in different ways, different situations, different sectors. This new centralized, of course, the new decentralized and secure method of data sharing is still in the beginning phases of this cycle in our country, India. The future effectiveness and sustainability of healthcare systems will inevitably require greater operational efficiencies. The key to this will be the ability to use the increasing amounts of available health data from traditional sources, we can say EHR, electronic health records, and other digital health applications as well as non-traditional sources. So we can keep on telling like this in connection with the blockchain. When we talk about this particular technology towards banking, of course, the cryptocurrencies we are hearing for the past 1 decade in a sound manner. The impact on financial service in line with the speed and accessibility, the smart contract, the insurance factor, by improves the transaction transparency, eliminating the middleman. Like that, we can list n number of items towards this particular technology. So in today's first session, we can discuss blockchain fintech application in banking. In fact, before goes into the depth of this particular technology, I sincerely believe that the participants are knowing at least something in connection with ML technology. Maybe some of the participants, those who gathered here, are having the experience of using the particular Apple iPhone 10 version or more than that. You know, this particular Apple iPhone Face ID is claiming that the triumph of machine learning technology because of the quality of trained model. Why I am saying this particular technology before starting the blockchain means we have to understand that when we go for deal something through IoT, we are supposed to club two or more number of technologies together for getting things effectively. If you want to make things effectively, it is mandatory that we are supposed to keep at least a couple of technologies together. The interdisciplinary approach or the multidisciplinary approach is mostly required in this particular sector. Because of that reason, I put this ML technology and I am saying the example of Apple iPhone's facial ID. They are claiming that even after several years, decades also, this particular technology is having the capability of identifying the registered user. Right? These are all happening because of the continuous updation of input data, model, and the model is getting trained so that the prediction is coming as a fine way. In fact, when we talk about this blockchain, we are supposed to know the various terms like records, blocks, blockchain, and what it be. Seriously, when we say record, in fact, if you are looking this term as a layman, we are having several records personally. My name is a record. My age is a record. My birthplace is a record. So it can be any type of information. The information may be about an asset. The asset may be a physical or it may be a movable, right? In fact, if you are having n number of records, those records will be collected together and keep storage. For a layman understanding, I always says that if you are looking at a classroom, the students in the group, if you are looking at an individual student, the individual student may have several records like date of birth, age, the school which he studied or she studied, the marks obtained in the various classes. Like that, the collection of records will come. So the blocks are a snapshot of each of state. When I say each of state, the student who is completing 10th standard will go for higher secondary class by opting a specific branch for study. It may be PCM, or it may be arts and science, or it may be humanities, economics, and other things. So if you want to look, then we are supposed to go for verifying those records which is stored in a particular place. That particular place is called here as block. So the block is a collection of records where the blocks are a snapshot of each of state, where we can go for tracking an asset whose state is getting changed. Similarly, the roll number 1 who is going to continue his education after higher secondary to engineering or MBBS or BA, BCom, BSc, right? So it is getting continuously updated record of who holds what. So it is the representation of the continuous changes of state. So every changes will be added as another block. And if you want to make correction in the previous block of the particular chain, then we are required to get permission from at least 51% of the particular chain users, right? So in the case of student, the marks, the records are updated by the Department of Technical Education or Board of Education. So their permission is required to make modification. In fact, that particular school is also connected with that. When we connect the school, the particular teacher is also there. So it is difficult for anybody to change the already existed block until unless we get majority of the people's permission. Just imagine if it goes like that, if the chain goes like that, the number of users, number of authentic persons for that particular block will always get increased. It never goes in a simple or small number. This is the major reason the blockchain technology is claiming that the data which is kept in these chains are having more secured one. In fact, this is the one got attracted by various governments, various MNCs throughout the world. So the self-sustaining peer-to-peer database for managing and recording transactions. In fact, there is no central bank or clearing house involvement. Here I am using the term central bank or clearing house because I am going to deliver the content on the topic banking sector. If you are looking the banks, even for transferring through RTGS or NEFT, the control is going to a central bank authority. And if it is a check, it is going to a clearing house where it is required a third party. In fact, in this blockchain, those kind of central bank clearing house involvements are not at all required. Right? So this is one of the major advantages of using this blockchain. In fact, if you are looking the workflow, right? When we do something, we are always afraid about tampering, fraud, or political control. In fact, the voters machine, right? Just I am putting a sensitive matter at the beginning itself. The algorithms. When we talk about these algorithms, people are using this algorithm term as a black box. The common man, the society doesn't know what is happening inside the black box. We are giving some input and getting some output. We don't know how the machine is arrived for the particular decision, for the particular prediction, right? In fact, we are always interested to design, right? The design must be easier way, at least by any single computer. It should not be dominated by a single computer. Second, it should have a ledger. Whenever, wherever we require, things has to be taken in a moment. So the blockchain is having all the facilities, all the way of possibilities, so that it is getting immersed, nothing like that. If you are looking the utilization in a very ordinary way, we are supposed to use anything or any technology for the purpose of transferring something. So when you say transferring, definitely that will be an asset. When we are going to transfer, it is getting changed in its state at least a particular percentage. Maybe the name is getting changed, or the company is getting changed, or a portion of that amount or portion of that value is going to some other one. That's what the asset can be, anything of value. As I said, it can be physical or non-physical asset. The healthcare industry's EMR, electronic medical records, electronic healthcare records, EHR, in fact, inventory, real estate, currency, our votes, our bank accounts, whatnot. When we say asset, it is required a owner. It is required a participant. So the participant may be an organization or the participant may be an individual. But that particular participant is doing this business who is exchanging certain asset in the form of physical or non-physical in various ways from one point to multiple points and vice versa. In fact, when we say participants are there, then the transaction is happening. If you are looking at our ancestors, say 100 years back, instead of the currency, they used to exchange the products. There are also certain amount of valued asset is getting transferred from one point to another point in a single or multiple way. So, if you are looking the utilization, it is similar to all other things. But here there is no third party. Things are all in open-ended. Anybody, anytime, anywhere can see, monitor the activities. So wherever there is a change of state, a new block is created and it is continuing with the existing block. So the chain is not going to break. If you are asking specifically, when we go for purchasing 1 liter of oil, you can get data of the raw product which is utilized for making that 1 liter oil, from where, when, from whom, on what date, on how much amount. Such kind of data can be easily recoverable, provided if you are doing the transaction through blockchain technology. Right? So this is the easiest way to understand this particular technology and the need for going to have this kind of technologies. Always people will ask, what is the purpose? We are always having a seller, we are always having a buyer. The seller and buyer may be in different ways, maybe in a single or multiple ways. But always the seller doesn't trust the buyer doesn't trust the seller. If you are looking the bigger amount of transactions, people will ask, you please give guarantee. You please give guarantee from bank. You please give guarantee from the government. In between, if you are not doing, what can I do? I will lose the entire thing. So the problem with the traditional transactions are all the trust. Whether we have any such kind of system other than giving the third party guarantee in our day-to-day life. If you are asking, I can say no. So before goes, here almost 90 plus participants are here. You may belong to in different engineering sectors. In fact, this particular technology is not purely for computer science alone. It can be learned, trained, and implement, even demonstrate by any people. The obstacles, if you are looking in trusting, generally it is because of the tampering, lack of transparency, confirmation. Of course, the double spending problem. Why we are saying tampering? The tampering, the hackers, the third parties, those who are not connected with this particular transactions are interested to do something or grasp something, right? And most of the time, we are saying this kind of black money, white money, right? And the sales are taking place without bills. So like these four major factors are always assumed as obstacles for the trust. In fact, if he goes for the blockchain technology or BC, the tampering, we can say no because of the immutability. Why? Here we are using hash, which is a mathematical algorithm. Now the participants can understand why I started with machine learning algorithm and the triumph of machine learning algorithm, which is claimed by Apple iPhone's Face ID. Now participants can easily understand we cannot omit technologies. It can be always coupled together in one or another way. So this the mathematical algorithm, which is always allows one way of encryption, easy to compute but difficult to reverse, which I told multiple occasions. It required 51% of the users who are all in that particular chain. So here also we are saying difficult to reverse, but it is possible to reverse. Only thing, majority of the people have to accept it. In fact, if you are looking at tampering, assume a question like this: how much money would you have if you doubled 1 rupee every day for 1 month? The first day it will be 1 rupee, second day it will be 2 rupee, third day it will be 4 rupee, fourth day it will be 8 rupee, fifth day will be 16 rupee, and keep on goes, right? At the end, it is little unimaginable. Here also, in the 256-bit electronic signature, right? So the crypto technology, when we go for this chain, the tampering is, we can say, not possible, because we cannot predict who is in this particular block and from where. It is practically very difficult to identify the users and convince them for doing manipulations. So that's what the blockchain BC technology is claiming, that it is having more data security. In fact, transparency. People are always saying that some people are keeping money without telling to the government. But if you are starting transaction through BC, the transparency rate is huge, because here the transparency is in distributed ledger. So whatever we transact will be possible for the authorities to see, and whoever is having permission is possible to see. I hope the participants can note my talk very carefully. I am saying whoever is having the permission to see the ledger, right? So the chain is the ledger, the clear picture of the history of the chain itself, because it is adding one after another as block according to the change of the state. If it is in transparent way, no need of worrying. It will always give the confidence. So here the provenance is distributed ledger. In fact, the double spending, I am sure at least a few of the participants here may have such kind of experience while they did business through some online portals. Soon after paying the money online, we received SMS, the so-and-so amount is deducted from your account. But we didn't receive any invoice from that particular company for accepting the amount. Then we used to call through the call center. When we call the bank, they will say you call the online agency. When we call the online agency, they will say you call bank. By that way, we will lose certain hours, some occasions, certain days, even some weeks. But here, it is not like that until unless it verified, it won't get execution. The block is only added after validation. In fact, people are saying that it is getting delayed because of the cryptocurrencies, right? The cryptocurrencies transfer is taking at least 4 hours. You might hear about Bitcoin, which we will discuss in the second session. If you want to purchase such kind of Bitcoins, it will reflect in your account after certain hours only. The reason, it has to get validated. So the validation is taking certain time, but because of that, the double spending is not happening. So the blockchain is not at all having any such kind of third party. It is not having any central authority, so that things are all in the individual's hand. It is easy for us to manage the integrity, trust, as well as transaction, and the trust in the trustless is getting built by this BC in the form of crypto technology, distributed ledger, validation or verification, and because of non-involvement of central authorities. So this blockchain is having a huge expectations by various MNCs, companies. In fact, it is having its own value addition, like recordation, value exchange, smart contracts, etc. things. So a reliable, difficult to hack record of transactions and of who owns what. Based on distributed ledger technology, which securely records information across a peer-to-peer network. A distributed ledger is a database of transactions. When we say transactions, this shared and synchronized across multiple computers and locations without the central party or the third party. In fact, it is happening based on algorithmic verification as well as approval. The transactions are stored in blocks of 10 records each, linked a chain of all earlier blocks. In fact, these centralized, decentralized, and distributed ledger. The reason we are always saying several reasons for these kind of things. This innovation topic in banking, but it is relevant for various characteristics. When we say these kind of things, right? When we say these kind of things, this distributed ledger, in fact, it is a database that is consensually shared. Why it is so? When I say it is getting shared and synchronized across multiple sites, across institutions, even geographies. In fact, accessible by multiple people. When I say multiple people, it is not simple, it is in millions. It allows transactions to have public witness. The participant at each node of the network can access the recordings shared across that network and can own an identical copy of it. Any changes or additions made to the ledger are reflected and copied to all the participants in a matter of seconds, some occasions minutes. So this is one drawback. When I say minutes, you just imagine the lakhs and lakhs of records will take again certain amount of time. So a distributed ledger stands in contrast to the centralized ledger, which is the type of ledger that most companies are using nowadays. A centralized ledger is more prone to cyber attacks and fraud as it has a single point of failure. That's what the data center, the server are going to move to the technology of blockchain. In fact, quantum computing also there, but again, it is a very infant stage in the world. In fact, this platform, depending upon the type of ledger, the answer will vary. To keep things small, to keep things simple, we can say that in public networks, anyone can validate, write, and read transactions. Whereas in private networks, only invited members can validate, write, and read transactions. In fact, hybrid also there. Hybrid variants are also possible nowadays. If we can say example, it would be that validation and writing to the blockchain is invite only, but reading at least selected transactions in public. For example, I showed in the slide the public ledgers as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero. It is not limited with that. In fact, the private permissioned ledgers, I hope at the beginning of this particular sector, I told permission and permissionless, right? The private, we are saying Hyperledger, Corda, R3 and B3i. It is not limited with this number. Still, we are having n number of platforms in public as well as private sector, right? Since we are talking about this technology and the topic given as banking and insurance for the next couple of sessions, you must know about this term ISO 222. It is a multi-part international standard prepared by ISO Technical Committee, which is called as TC 68 Financial Services. It describes a common platform for the development of message using a modeling technology to capture in a syntax independent way financial business areas. So this ISO 222 is called Universal Financial Industry Message Scheme. Hope you people heard about ISO, may not be this 222. When you are having a think process of doing research or project in banking or insurance sector by using this technology, definitely you must thorough about this particular term, ISO 222. Most of us are having the experience of cross-border payments. What do you mean by cross-border payments? If you want to transfer money for abroad countries where your friend or family members are there, okay, that is the imagination. Then we may go for using bank as on the day or internet banking, right? Or we can go traveler's check or banker's check, like that we are using, which is consuming more amount of time as well as human resources. In fact, the ripple, why I am saying the ripple, if you are looking the banks in the world, the largest banks in the world, the American Express, Standard Chartered, HSBC, Barclays, okay, we can list like that. The top banks, here I mentioned 200 financial institutions. The top 50 banks in the world are using this Ripple. What is this Ripple? It is a currency, virtual currency called XRP, decentralized cryptocurrency, made by the Ripple Net Payment Platform. Just 8 years back, it started offered to the various financial institutions, specifically in the real-time gross settlement way. In fact, we cannot say hereafter it is having more secure or it is in a transparent way. Most of the banks, that's what I told in the inaugural session, most of the people, most of the companies started. In fact, this XRP ledger is a shared system with all data recorded publicly securely updated with each new ledger version. Anyone can look up the exact outcome of any transaction and read the transaction metadata to see what it did. Another one we can say the JP Morgan, right? So this is what I raised the question. Please introduce about yourself. This is what I told. This is not purely for computer technologies. If you want to implement this blockchain technology in banking, we should thoroughly know the banking operations. So the JP Morgan, another big giant in the financial area, who built the Quorum blockchain, right, internally using the Ethereum network, the software that underpins Ether, one of the most well-known cryptocurrencies. Hope you might heard about Ethereum. So Quorum, which will remain open source, is being used by the bank to run the interbank information network, a payments network that involves more than 300 banks throughout the world. In fact, Quorum is an enterprise blockchain platform. It is a fork of the public Ethereum client called Geth, with several protocol level enhancements to support business needs. So just for an example, I said this. In fact, this Quorum is a permissioned blockchain. The Quorum platform developed by this JP Morgan. It is used for processing the private transactions. So this JPM coin is a planned dollar cryptocurrency, right? So these two examples may be easy for you people how much the banking sector is in front of implementing this particular technology. In fact, the financial technology, even before the BC comes, we people are having this financial technology, which is called the fintech. We started banking during those days, even the typewriter not there, only in the manual. Before that, only because of the memory, people done the banking transactions. So whenever the change occurred, then we are saying that we are implementing certain amount of technology. So it might be a disruption, automation, digitization, simplification. We can say any technical term. In fact, we are using this for the past several decades. The database SQL, right? SQL from 1974 came, then magnetic tape came, then TCP/IP version 4 adoption came, then WWW World Wide Web in the 1991, then Web 2.0, right? Like that, we came up with variety of versions. Similarly, in the banking sector, also there are several things like FinTech 1, 2, 3, and 3.5 also, because of the geography, elements, and the shift of origin. This is purely related with the MBA persons, MBA finance people. But if you want to implement, then you must know certain terms and characters. Maybe because of reducing the cost, increasing efficiency, builds client relationship, facilitating regulatory compliance and security, we are required. And this particular screen is appropriate for all the participants because the investment in the fintech area, specifically by using the variety of technology, in the recent past is getting high, that is reached 50 billion US dollar. In fact, 5.6 billion US dollar was raised by blockchain startups through ICOs in 2017 itself. So the scope for jumping into this particular sector or kickstart the startup or project or research is having more scope. That intention only I put the past 3-4 slides. Right. So if you are looking this area, the financial inclusions, payments, insurtech, wealth tech, cap tech, open banking. In fact, if you are looking on the left side of the screen, which I am sharing with you, contains the AI, robotics, cloud, blockchain, cybersecurity, reg tech, edge tech. So I recall one more time, we cannot go BC alone. Definitely we required IoT. In fact, in the transition stage, we required shift data from cloud or server to this particular thing. But still, we are supposed to educate about cybersecurity. So everything is interconnected, or we can say embedded. But another side, whichever the thing we require, we can choose. So the blockchain is having its own characteristics. It is a database technology. Please don't think it is an industry. It is not a financial service technology. It is always solving the double spend problem. The strength lies on transparency and immutability. In fact, living in a world of digital representations, that is common. Anybody can say that statement. So when we say it is a database technology, not an industry, it can be used to create and track digital representations of any type of asset, item, or even idea too. So when I say idea, you just think about the patent office, right? How much we academicians are showing interest to register our idea. In fact, the platform or the service. What do you mean by platform? What do you mean by service? Why we required service? Why we required platform? Where and all we required platform? And wherever we required service. If you are looking at the platform that allows the development of blockchain-based applications, they can either be permissioned or permissionless. This Ethereum, Hyperledger, R3, Ripple, EOS are few names that have built blockchain frameworks, allowing people to develop and host applications on the blockchain. Right? So the Tezos, Ethereum comes under the category permissionless. The Hyperledger Fabric, Ripple, right? Then Quorum, then Corda. Corda will come on both the category. Stellar. These things will come in permissioned. In fact, the Stellar will come in both public and private. Dragon, of course, comes in public, private, as well as hybrid too. If you are looking the service, right? If you are looking the service, you might hear the term B, capital B, small a, capital S, blockchain as a service, right? What it means? Blockchain service that offers to the people or the company, allowing the customers to use cloud-based services to develop, use, and host their blockchain apps, functions, and smart contracts. So this BaaS includes a cloud-based service provider that manages tasks to keep the infrastructure operational as well as agile. So blockchain is a service, managed blockchain platform, allowing buyers to build blockchain applications and digital services on a distributed network, while the vendor supplies infrastructure and blockchain building tools. So futures, if you are looking this BaaS service, we can say platform architecture management, modular, pre-configured networks and infrastructure, so that the workflow setup will become easy. In between, the middleware for monitoring development for app building will happen. Auditable transaction records, built-in connections to needed service. So we can say many things. And examples I put on the slide as Next Ledger, Amazon, IBM, Microsoft, EDF, Alibaba, Oracle, Coda, right? So these are all few examples. In fact, this next lecture is by Samsung people. So this can be applicable for large applications. It can be applicable for small, medium enterprises. You might hear about this Boido Trust and the Trust SQL blockchain by organization size example I given here. In fact, if you are looking the provider may provide application oriented or middleware or infrastructure. The type, as I said earlier, it can be private or public or hybrid also. In fact, application is numerous, starts from transportation, agriculture, energy, manufacturing, insurance, IT, healthcare, media, banking, retail, government, travel, whatnot. It is not limited with this. We have a huge scope. In fact, banking, that's what we gathered to hear, banking and insurance in the next 2 sessions, right? So the KPMG, you might hear the term, Frank Casual, Vice Chair of Audit, KPMG, said like this about the blockchain. It is important for today's auditors to be at the forefront of disruptions because auditors won't like this kind of technologies. And to identify ways to innovate to advance audit quality and to align auditing capabilities with the changes occurring in the marketplace. So this is a bigger question. We don't know how much we are going to lose, right, from the auditor side. So question for you people, those who knows answer, you can put it in the message box. The blockchain in BFSI market size is forecast to reach certain amount of US dollar, that too in billion by 2025, growing at a CAGR of 74% from 2022 to 2025. If you are looking the blockchain, which is used in the banking, we are having several requirements. What are the requirements in the banking? It may be interbank, remittance, smart contract, crypto banking, record sharing and storage, clearing settlement, loan syndication. It is not ended with that. Still we are having the topics like regulatory technology, KYC, regulatory reporting, trade finance, data security, increasing transparency, serving the unbanked. Again, it is not limited with that. Still, we are having several sub-segments. Few major segments I thought of sharing with you people, so that I put this particular slide. In fact, you might hear about wealth management systems. Each day we are hearing about this BC and its ability to transform the banking industry. Although most researchers, articles focus on retail banking and asset management, wealth managers, when I say wealth managers, I hope the participants may understand who is wealth manager, right? So they are supposed to look the various impacts. The impacts will be like real-time settlement model, smart contract, and single point of truth, which is mentioned here as SPOT, and automated investment vehicles. When you say real-time settlement models, it can transform the execution of financial transactions with positive impacts on transaction cost, counterparty risk, and capital availability. But here one negative thought is there. It is the threat for the transaction fees. Now, the participants can understand. Whenever we do transaction in the bank, we are supposed to pay certain amount as transaction fee. When it comes in this particular area, then that particular transaction fee will be a bigger threat. Second, the data privacy protection, risk and financial history, which includes the KYC, investment profile prepositions, smart contract, or as I posted here, the spot, right? This will make, if you are implementing blockchain, faster client onboarding and provider switching. And the next generation service, we can say cryptocurrency, the virtual currency. Even we can say the robo advisors like that, right? So in the wealth management, it is having its own positive things. The transaction cost, counterparty risk, and capital availability. In fact, the smart contract, data privacy, risk and financial history, KYC, investment profile propositions. In case of next gen, the digital investment portfolio, autonomous financial instruments, automated investment vehicles, and built on smart contracts. If you are looking the banks, the UBS bank, again, a broad bank, but still a familiar name to most of us. They are experimenting distributed ledger technology-based trade finance system that is for the purpose of rationalizing import-export transactions global level. It is having a consortium which consists of 6 players, including the Swisscom, Zurich Continental Bank. Right. Hope they are doing that, but still it is in the experimental base. So when you look that particular thing, specifically in the portfolio and client book management, right? If you are looking the wealth management system, if you are looking the implementation of blockchain, the blockchain is allowing the agency or the firms or the company or MNC or bank to store a golden copy of reference data in a decentralized manner on a permissioned blockchain. That is, only the approved list of systems have permission to make changes, not all. So in a blockchain environment, if you are looking at bank, it has to run 2 different chains. One is for interacting with the external bodies like a consortia, and another were internal to the firm. So if you are looking the blockchain, the agency has to operate 2 chains. One is for the consortia sense, whoever is involved with that, and another one is for the internal purpose. So here, the screen which I am showing on this, the smart contract executed as mentioned here as number 1. I am a client. I want to start a bank account so that I am putting my application that is called here as smart contract. In the smart contract, I am putting some notifications. The transaction, whenever it goes above 5,000, then I should get message or I should get some notification, and based on my approval only, the bank has to release that amount. That is one condition of my smart contract which is executed with the bank. That is shown on the number 1. So if there is any deviation on my smart contract, which means if a request come for transferring 5,001 rupee, that is a deviation. So it has to be notified to the user. Here the user is marked as number 3. but the user may not be in the position of looking all these alerts always. Assume the user is in sleeping mode. So the alert has to go to the client advisor. Client advisor means to enhance the security of the particular bank. The bank made a provision by appointing an additional person to monitor these kind of deviations. So alert will goes to client advisor, that is marked as number 2. Then the user, that is marked as number 3. Of course, nowadays we are having the alert by SMS. Even whoever is having the credit card is having such kind of experience. Whenever you do the transaction to a third party, at first time, you will get a call from your bank call center to ensure that the transaction made by you, right? If you are not responding to the call coming from the call center for more than twice, that particular transaction will be stopped. That is the one condition recently made by few banks, right? So the alert will come to the client advisor as well as the client advisor based on the response. Here response will be given by client advisor or client. So it is up to us what level we can go for keeping the alert response. So client or client advisor response trigger smart contract to rebalance, right? And it is given permission to execute that particular order. So once we get approved, it will validate. I hope you can recall in the blockchain, the validation is the important thing. So the validated data that will be written on compliance system for external reporting, right? And also broadcast back to other peer nodes. When I say external reporting, that is a consortium blockchain. When I say other peer nodes, that is the internal chain. So the point number 6, validated block is added to the ledger so that the validated data is broadcasted back to other peers of the blockchain. So now, if the particular user wants to correct it after giving permission, it is not possible by him because it is required approval from other people, those who are involved in the particular chain. So this is what the wealth management system, portfolio and client book management is happening. Similarly, the KYC and the client onboarding, right? So when you say the KYC, here the client, right? Number 1, the client advisor feeding the input data, client onboarding attributes like KYC attributes, risk tolerance, right? Client assent class knowledge, right? So like that, the data is fed. Second, the node is taking data from the app through the mechanism. Third, the data is going to be sent to node by the approving authority in the blockchain. So that is the KYC compliance and regulatory reporting system. When it goes to the next stage, the smart contracts on approval node do the validation, checks as per onboarding process, so that the validated data is written on the compliance system for consortium blockchain, that is external reporting, as well as it will broadcast to the peer node which is I am saying as internal chain. So once it written, the number 5 is added. That validated data or validated block is added to the ledger, and it is broadcasting to the public or the users, those who are in the particular area. So this is one example. You people may think of it. Even you can execute this in your institute also. So as Fed Egram mentioned, everything will be tokenized and connected by a blockchain one day. He told several years back. I hope it is coming up. In fact, similarly, we can go for thinking of trade booking and settlements also. But I am not explaining due to the first session time limits. We can go for the next one. Robo advisory. Have you heard about this robo advisory? What is the purpose of robo advisory? Maybe every one of us are interested to make money into multiple ways, right? Within the short period of time. Maybe some of us are doing the business in stock exchange. So in the investment arena, of course, artificial intelligence and its subset of multiple machine learning algorithms have given us robo-advisors, where blockchain technology is the mother of all cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, right? So when we say robo-advisors, the algorithm, which is making the decision which stock I can invest on behalf of Murugananda. My duty is only to give permission to these advisors. Okay, this is very simple to hear, right? But the machine learning algorithm which we put into the machine has to work properly. Otherwise, the user will lose their entire money, which means our algorithm is having the capability of analyzing all the company's financial conditions minute to minute, second to second, even in micro level. Because we are giving permission to this machine to invest our money, right? So the money is going to transfer from our account, our bank account, to this particular account, and it is going to execute by the machines. In fact, the machine will ask some question about our interest, our financial conditions. I can say an example. Those who are having the account of National Pension Scheme, NPS, they used to ask whether you want to give auto invest or manual invest. So if you are choosing the auto invest, they will ask you whether you want to invest aggressively or safely or moderately, right? Accordingly, the investment will happen. There will be a minimum guarantee, right? So here the things will be always depend upon the algorithm. And if you want to make secure, then we can go for implementing the BC also, so that it will happen in a proper way. If you are looking the thing, the dividend, capital gain, interest, these things can be happened without any human intervention. Again, I am saying it depends upon our machine learning algorithm. If it is good, the more knowledge, time, and strategy will be best. In fact, the machine will not interact with the people. It is having limited options. Again, people will be go for multiple accounts, right? Okay, sorry, I didn't updated the January 2020. If you are looking the best robo advisors, the Betterment, Welfare, Sophie, these are all the top 5 in the world in the month of December. Various ways it is the classified, commission based or promotion based or minimum account based, balance based, like that, right? So those who are interested can look in it. And the third one, the sentiment analysis. In fact, we are all doing this NLP, deep learning things, right? In fact, most of the people are having the experience of such kind of response. we used to go to the mall. After paying the payment, the cashier will ask us to give the feedback in terms of pressing the button fixed in front of him. Very good, good, average, poor, very poor, like that, right? So the sentiment analysis, or we can say opinion mining, which is using the NLP and machine learning to interpret and classify emotions in subjective data, right? So here, the understanding the market sentiment is an important technique to learn and can positively affect your shared decision making. So here, why we are thinking about BC? The data, the asset, can be stored through this blockchain technology, right? So till that deep learning, we know. So if you are looking this sentiment analysis, irrespective of analysis like a fine-grained sentiment analysis, emotion detection, aspect-based sentiment analysis, multilingüidal, right? All the places we can go because it is shorting data at a particular scale, maybe 5-point scale or 4-point scale or 3-point scale, or even yes or no type. In fact, it is going to work with rule-based. Since we are having multiple algorithms together to make it as automation, in fact, some occasions we are using the manual thing also, so that is hybrid. So the approaches, automatic approaches, the extraction from text, classification algorithms, training and prediction. We can list n numbers, few things I put here. So the blockchain, if you are looking, in case of application, in case of middleware, in case of infrastructure, we can already started doing things by various MNCs. This is for your reference. You can choose the land, you can choose the platform, you can choose the sector, then kickstart your things. All right. So I will take another 5 minutes for this particular first session. These are all happening because of the cyber threat. If you are looking at the cyber threat in the past couple of years, it is huge and it is in the hiking tendency only. It is not going to reduce. In fact, various ways the things are happening. In fact, the IT acts in our country are all also good, but it is not going down. That's what the things are happening. In fact, if you are talking about money-minded way, the blockchain stocks. If you are looking the blockchain stocks, as per the US news, the Intercontinental, Square, Galaxy, Silvergate, Intel Corp, Canon are the top blockchain stocks, right? Again, it is new to us. Hope we will try to inspect, investigate these things. In the banking sector, I said only few things, which is in the starting stage, the customers getting in on board only, not in the depth of transfer data from one point to multiple points, right? Since it is the first session, I restricted with lesser amount of contents. So these are the few references for the morning first session talk. Whenever you have the free time, you can also go through it. Specifically, the Ripple's blockchain in payments report 2020 will give you a lot of highlights, how we can get scope for doing or starting something towards blockchain in banking sector. Thank you for your patient listening. We will meet, we will come back after the short break, which is going to mention by the coordinator. Over to the coordinator.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any queries, kindly unmute yourself and talk with Muruganandan, sir. Your next session will start at 12 o'clock.
If you are having questions, you can ask. Sorry, I took 6 more minutes since I planned for 1 hour 30 minutes. And we Okay. If there is no questions, we can meet 12 o'clock.
Yes, sir. We will meet at 12 o'clock. Sir. Thank you, sir. The participants, I have
Mahendra
posted.
Prasad Nath, I will share the slides to the coordinator. You will get the slides.
Yes, sir.
Atmana
Yes, sir.
Saxena also, right?
So
Thank
the
you.
participants, after completion of a day or the entire FDP, you will be getting all the slides in your WhatsApp group. Okay, so now I will post the feedback. So kindly fill the form. So it will be open maximum of 12 o'clock. Okay, because the next session will start at 12 o'clock. Right? Thank you.
Tell me the database models.
मॅडम लिंक
पहले वीडियो ऑन करा बरं मला वीडियो
गुगल मीटला
वीडियो ऑन करा शिवानी श्रुतिका एंड नायर इधर वीडियो ऑन कर बरं चलिए अब सीट नंबर बताओ तुम्हारा कितने
अटेंड
वीडियो ऑन करके मुझे और टिकट दिखाओ और टिकट का फोटो दिखाओ अथर्व तुझे एग्जांपल आहे फॅनचं फॅन सोडून आता मॉनिटर तो ऑब्जेक्ट देतो मी मॉनिटर मॉनिटर मॉडेल नंबर त्यानंतर नेम